Today on Steve Rob Reviews, I'm going to show you how I crimp a battery cable with the proper connections on the end and how I do it. And I use this right here. Yes, a hydraulic operated crimping tool. I've got some cables here that I used many years ago when I first got this. And we'll take a look at the results. It's been a long time. I believe it's around 2010 I got this crimper. We'll take a look at these cables that I'm not using anymore, but I will in the future have to make some shorter ones. I'll demonstrate on this what they look like after that many years. I mean, they're just shrink wrapped in there, and I'll show you how I do it and why I like using the hydraulic cable crimper. Well, let's take a look at this crimper here. I'll just turn it around for you here, and there she is right there. And this comes with a set of dies, and the most I can do with this is a number 4 gauge cable, but as you can see it comes with a whole bunch of small ones. And of course, see if I can get you in there. Yeah, so I mean it does go from quite small. This is a number 12, if I can get you in there, number 12, and at this end here, now it does show this 0, but you know what? Most of the time I'm using a number 4, and if I'm going for anything bigger, this is the tool I usually use, and this is spring operated. And of course you just put the part you're pulling in there, the little bit of a crimping tool here, and you hit this on the end. I'll demonstrate that for you too. But let's take a look at this and see how it operates. But first I'll show you my connections. So here is just a little bit of the connections that I have. And you know, they're all different assortments. And like I say, if you're going to use the big one here, I'll just pull this back here. You could see how you're going to need a lot of force, you know, to tighten in a conductor like that. And that is about a little bit more than a ½ inch inside here. And the crimping tool, I have tried to use the largest crimper on it, and it doesn't do that great of a job compared to this. I'm just putting a mechanical force by hitting it here, and it pinches the wire in there, and it's been good to me over the years with a big heavy cable like that. Now you can see the connection on the end. Well, I'm using this mainly for my solar panel systems and some automotive use, you know, but generally the connectors that I see, like I'm using, say if I've got a top post battery, well, I'm using this type of connector here, and you could see you just take the wing nut off there, and that gives you a, you know, a part where you can actually, you know, take a cable and attach it properly to it. And of course you need the proper copper washers. I like using copper. Now you can use other materials, but for the most part copper is pretty much the industry standard. So I'll take you over here and I'll get you set up, and we'll take a look at one of these cables, and we'll cut it apart and we'll see how it's served over the years. Because when I opened up the case there, I noticed it said 2009, so I've had this since 2009. So let's take a look at the cable, and then I'll show you crimping one. Well, here's this cable here. Like this one here is way too long, but I need to make another one, make it shorter for demonstration purposes here. We'll just cut this one right off, and let's just take a look and see what it's looked like. Now what is that, 2009 this has been on there. Let's just cut it off. Now do you see anything in there? I don't see no corrosion. I don't see no nothing. And I haven't soldered these in. I haven't done anything like that. All I've done was crimp them. And as far as I'm concerned, crimping them is good enough for me. There is a lot of controversy whether you should solder them or not. I'm not using super high amperage capacity on these cables. This is a number 4. And I have never run into a problem yet. Now these aren't in the outdoors, they're not subjected to the salt like you would on a vehicle, so I mean it's up to you what you decide what you want to do. But yeah, these were outdoors, kept outdoors, and yeah, that's a pretty good telltale sign there. Now there's a lot of different connectors out there. You've got quite a few, but in reality lead is at the bottom of the list. It's great for corrosion resistance, but it's less than 10% the conductivity of copper. You know, a lot of people think that gold is some kind of the best conductor. Actually, silver's the best, then a copper. And you know, gold's down there, way down there, around 75%, and brass is way down there too, like 30%. Compared to copper, and a lot of people do use copper, and I like copper, and that's pretty well it for me. Now of course engineers have decided to use different materials for different applications, and it's best to follow the engineers because they're the sharp guys. So let's just bear this up here, and I'll bring you back and we'll crimp it here, and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so here's the tool here, and it's very simple. You just got it on and off. You just, you know, tighten it up and unloosen it, and the jaws will retract, and you just stick your particular fitting in the end, and just till it starts to grab. There we go, right there. And all I do is I just stick the conductor in there and start crimping away. Now what I do is when it starts to really feel like a lot of tension where you can't, okay, right about there, see I can't crimp that anymore, and that's plenty strong, undo it and it releases, and that's it right there. You know, so there's the crimp right there, and of course what I follow it up with is some shrink wrap over top, shrink tubing, and that's it. And that's a terrific, you know, connection that will hold up for many years, and that's the way that I like to do it. Now of course for the big connectors, yeah, I go with this one here, and it does a terrific job, you know, and you can see that the end here will crush this right in, and it makes a good mechanical hold on it. So for me that's pretty well it. Now of course there's always the controversy of soldering. And you know what? I've seen some videos where people are soldering them. And as far as I'm concerned, if you're not careful what you're doing, especially using the right solder, and not getting everything so overheated that the wires are destroyed by overheating the connections. So in my experience, I really haven't had the need to solder any connections together, you know, using these type of connectors. And that's the way I like it. Well, I hope you like this little bit of a demonstration on this hydraulic crimper. And you know what? It's a great little tool. And for me, I'm thinking, I paid back then, 2009, maybe like 40 bucks for this. It's been a great tool. I highly recommend it. Now, of course, there's lots of other tools out there that do a better job, and I have seen some that actually have a nice set of jaws that go all the way around and crimp all the way around, and as far as I'm concerned, they're probably just as good or better. It all depends on how much you want to spend, and you know, I mean, this here for the money, I couldn't go wrong with this, and it's worked out fine for me. And that's the thing about watching a YouTube video. You're going to get all kinds of opinions on what you should buy and what you shouldn't buy, and what works for one person may not work for another. But for me, this has worked for me, and I like it. And when I like something, you're going to see it on my channel. So thanks for joining me here today, and if you haven't seen this channel before, you're welcome to subscribe. Come back again, guys. Let's have some more fun. Cheers.